Viewpoints talks about a legend in jazz after this.
Technology changed the way I listen to music.
Technology changed the way I plan travel.
Now, technology is changing the way people invest. Whether you're a multi-million-dollar investor or just starting out, Betterment is the smart answer to the question, how should I manage my money? Powered by smarter technology and personalized for your financial goals, Betterment automatically manages your investments and minimizes taxes, all for a fraction of the cost of traditional financial services. You just set it and forget it. With over 95,000 customers and $2.3 billion under management, Betterment is the smarter, easier way to invest. Isn't it time you use smarter technology to build your wealth? Sign up today and receive up to 6 months free. Get full terms and conditions at betterment.com/podcast. Betterment. Investing made better. Sign up for your free trial at betterment.com/podcast.
There may be trouble ahead. While there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance.
There's no mistaking it. That's jazz. The rhythm, the vocal styling, the bass all point to that quintessential American music genre. And the vocalist behind the tune is Sheila Jordan, who has been singing the standards and the not-so-standards in her own unique style for nearly 7 decades. Jordan is not only a singer, but also a songwriter and jazz innovator. Jordan's life in music piqued the interest of writer and musician Ellen Johnson, who thought it was a great story that needed to be told.
I actually didn't make the decision to write about her. It just kind of came out of a situation of wanting to have a story written about her, and nothing was happening. And so I sort of flippantly said, well, then I'll write it, and here I am.
Johnson's biography of the singer is titled Jazz Child, a portrait of Sheila Jordan. We talked to Johnson and Sheila Jordan herself about Jordan's decision to become a singer, her inspirations, innovations, the jazz lifestyle, and her battles with racism, drugs, and alcohol. Born Sheila Jeanette Dawson in Detroit in 1928, she was sent to live with her grandparents in a poor coal mining town in Pennsylvania because her mother couldn't take care of her. Johnson says that the singer's life was not a happy one, and she turned to music to survive the tough times.
Because she grew up in poverty, really intense poverty, and she felt ostracized as a child, I think the music became such a significant part of keeping her going, giving her something to believe in, and it kind of saved her life. And I think when she found jazz music, and particularly the music of Charlie Parker at the time, she was looking for something to inspire her, to take her through these tough times. Even though as a child she didn't have it, as a child she sang, and it was in her. And so I think the music has been the string that has held her throughout her life together in all these really tough times.
At the beginning, Jordan says she didn't really know about jazz. She just liked to sing and to watch her favorite stars dance at the movies.
I was just singing the songs of the day, like those Fred Astaire tunes, you know? Because I loved Fred Astaire when I was a little kid. Oh, I'd walk 2 miles if I could get money from scrubbing this woman's floors for her. She was crippled, and I would scrub her floors as a little kid. And we're talking big floors, long floors. And then she would give me money, and I would walk 2 miles to see a Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movie. That's before I heard Charlie Parker. Those songs stayed in my head. Actually, the songs of the day when I was growing up were all these beautiful standard tunes by Gershwin and Cole Porter and all these great composers, you know?
Oh, I like to go out fishing in a river or a creek, but there's nothing I like half as much as dancing cheek to cheek. And I like to climb a mountain just to reach the highest peak, but there's nothing thrills me half as much as dancing cheek to cheek.
The turning point in her life in music was when she moved back to Detroit to live with her mother. Jordan was 14 and loved listening to the jukebox.
I always, had a nickel or whatever. I saw this Charlie Parker and his Reboppers on the jukebox, and I didn't know what kind of music I wanted. I just loved to sing. I put a nickel in and played that tune, and I have 4 notes, and I tell you, that expression, your skin crawls. My skin was crawling, and I said, that's the music that I'll dedicate my life to. I love this music, whether I sing it or teach it or just go out and hear it. It's so wonderful, wonderful music.
Jordan says she could identify with the music because she could put all of her pain and joy into it. Charlie Bird Parker was her idol and a great saxophonist. She was enthralled by his talent and ability to innovate, despite the demons that plagued him and other jazz musicians.
He was this great innovator of bebop music, and he was a genius. Nobody played like him. Not only did he have the depth and soul playing what he felt, but also he had this incredible technique. I mean, he would like whiz through these notes like a bird singing. It was incredible what he did. To watch him play and never, ever, ever missing a note, it was like amazing. I couldn't believe it. And on top of all this, he had the terrible, cunning, baffling, powerful disease of drug addiction and alcohol. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, he was only 34 years old when he died.
Jordan moved from Detroit to New York City in the early 1950s, partly to follow Parker and study music, but also because she thought the environment would be more welcoming to a white woman who performed with and befriended black musicians. Johnson says the attitude about interracial mingling then was very different than it is today.
Well, it was terrible. I mean, you could be killed. I mean, I think the people today, even though we still have racism, they don't have those kinds of issues. You can be with a person of another culture. Back then, you could be killed for that. Back then, you were ostracized for that. So the thing that I really admire about Sheila was that she had tremendous courage to stay with what she believed to be true, even though she wasn't getting the support. And she was beat up. She was pulled over by the police and just horrible things that happened to her. But she never stopped believing that this was the right thing.
Jordan says that although in New York there were more people who were accepting of blacks and whites together, it was no interracial utopia by any means. She tells the story of almost being killed as she stood in front of her apartment with two African-American friends.
We had dinner. We were coming back. I got in front of my house, and 4 white guys jumped us in New York. I tried to get away from this, and here it is in New York. The 3 guys held my friends up against the wall, and the other guy threw me down on the sidewalk, kicked me in my face, knocked my tooth out, kicked me in my ribs, was ready to kill me, and all of a sudden, this guy walks across the street fully dressed in a suit and an overcoat with a gun, pointing the gun, I thought, at me. And I said, I'm going to die over this. He's going to kill me.
Fortunately, the gunman was a plainclothes police officer who rescued her from the attack. During her time in New York, Jordan married Charlie Parker's piano player, Duke Jordan, and had a daughter, Tracy. The marriage didn't last, but Jordan continued in her career, singing, recording, and trying out new musical styles. Charlie Parker wasn't the only innovator in jazz at the time. Jordan created the bass-voice duet that Johnson says is one of the singer's trademarks.
Sheila does a complete bass and voice concert of material that's specifically arranged for bass and voice. And I do feel that that's one of her innovations that she's brought to this music. That was my attraction to her because I liked singing with the bass and voice, and I never heard anybody do it to the extent that she did it.
There are moments in your lifetime when the whole world seems insane. If you search beyond the madness, there is peace of mind to gain.
That song, The Crossing, holds a special significance for Jordan. She is a 29-year recovering alcoholic who gave up the bottle when she realized she was wasting her musical gifts.
The Crossing is written for my recovery from alcoholism and drugs. I never got into heroin or shooting drugs, but I did get into cocaine use. I had a spiritual awakening, and it was very strong and powerful, and I was coming out of a sort of like a, hangover, and the voice said to me, I gave you a gift, and if you don't take care of that gift, I'm going to take it away and give it to somebody else. Now, this voice was not a voice, but this message, and I jumped off the couch. I said, oh, my God, where did that come from? And it was so prominent and so strong that I knew I had to do something about my problem. and I did.
Jordan's scat singing, that is, improvising melodies and lyrics that aren't really words, is amazing. It's a difficult thing for any singer to do, but Jordan makes it sound effortless.
So baby, think 'cause I'm sailing my dream boat to you now.
This is the music that Jordan wants to preserve for future generations. She conducts workshops and teaches a bit, and Johnson says she does it to bring the message and the history of jazz to the public. Jordan adds that it's a piece of Americana we can't let fall by the wayside.
Her teaching comes out of her desire to want to share this music. It's so important to her that people get this message from someone who's been there. She's a mentor to many, 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 many singers and instrumentalists around the world. And I think it's very important for her to get that message out and to share her experiences. And in a way, she's a link to this past. I mean, when we hear her stories, we're there with Charlie Parker. We're there with, Horace Silver. We're there with all the people that, Don Cherry, that she sings about. Because even when she sings on stage, it's almost like a history lesson in a way, because she brings all these people's stories. Miles Davis, there's a beautiful ballad she does for Miles Davis. And so I think her mentorship to people around the world is significant. Because, look, she's the real deal on how to swing. She's the real deal on singing bebop. I mean, you can listen to a recording, but there's a woman who learned it from the source.
I just want to keep this message of jazz music alive and how beautiful it is. Hey, listen, this is the only American music that we can call our own. And it still is like the stepchild of American music. Doesn't make sense.
You can read all about Sheila Jordan and the rough road jazz musicians and singers walked to create their music in Ellen Johnson's biography, Jazz Child, A Portrait of Sheila Jordan, available in stores and online. She also invites listeners to visit her website, jazzchildthebook.com, and Jordan's site at SheilaJordanJazz.com. For information about all of our guests, log on to our site at viewpointsonline.net. I'm Gary Price.
It's a love I have when I'm singing for you. Oh, the spirit of